Hi, I'm Reuben. This is another Reuben's Corner. Today I am summarizing the book Strong Fathers, Strong Daughters by Dr. Meg Meeker. She is a pediatrician and she writes from a very Christian, conservative point of view. This is a good book. This is the second time I've read it. I read it the first time a few years ago, and I committed to reading this book repeatedly. So I'm going to summarize all of the key points that I took away from this, and I'm saying all of this from her perspective. So it may sound a little bit like these are my beliefs. I'm not saying that. I'm saying this is what she says in the book. Side note, let me interrupt for a quick second here. My wife, Anna, was kind of standing behind me and walking around doing work throughout the house the whole time I was recording the summary. And when I was done, she said, you sound really preachy. And I don't agree with everything that author has to say. And let me reiterate. This is a book summary. I'm sharing all of the key points in this book. This is not me telling anybody how to parent. And I don't wholeheartedly agree with everything in this book either. So while it may sound like it's coming from me, this is coming from the author. I want to reinforce that. So, okay, back to the summary. So she feels that, and I'm not going to keep phrasing it this way, but I'll just start off saying she feels that the most important factor for girls to grow up into strong, confident, well-adjusted women is a strong father with conservative values. This is the best protection against eating disorders, drug or alcohol abuse, STDs, unwed pregnancy, and a bunch of other stuff. She also says that it's the best predictor of academic achievement, successful marriage, and a satisfying emotional life. How a father treats his daughter every day will mold her into the person that she will become. A father is the epicenter of his daughter's tiny world. Dr. Meeker says that girls are never lukewarm in the presence of their fathers. They may take their mothers for granted sometimes, but when the dad walks in the room, and we're assuming like her office, when the dad walks in the room, they change. They will frequently light up or burst into tears. What the daughter needs from the dad is leadership. She gives her dad authority because she knows, well, I'm gonna talk to you. You're the dad. She gives you authority because she knows that you love and adore her. She can't feel good about herself until she knows that you feel good about her. Your daughter doesn't want you to see her as an equal. She wants you to be her hero. Someone who is wiser, stronger, and steadier than she is. And the only way that you will lose your daughter in the long term is by losing her respect, failing to lead, or failing to protect her. If you don't provide for her needs, she will find someone else who will do that. There is a need there, and it is going to be filled. And as a father, it's our choice. Am I going to fill this need, or am I going to let her find someone else to fill that need? Many men feel uncomfortable with the idea of having this authority, thinking that this is an outdated way of treating the rest of their family. But the reality is that this is what girls need. The ones who end up in counselors' offices are not the ones with authoritative dads. They're the ones whose fathers abandoned them, retreated from their lives, or ignored them. These fathers were afraid or failed to establish rules. These fathers struggled with their own emotional problems rather than their daughter's problems. And these fathers wanted to avoid any type of conflict, so they didn't challenge their daughters when their daughters made bad decisions. They just kind of faded into the background or didn't want to deal with it. Probably the most important part of being a dad is don't back out. No matter how tough it gets, stay involved in your daughter's life. Many psychiatrists believe that if your daughter experiences a sexual assault, the father's response is the most important factor in determining how quickly she will recover from that assault. While in the moment, it might be difficult to say no to your daughter, and I'm changing gears, obviously. While in the moment it might be difficult to say no to your daughter, this is what you need to do as a father to help build trust. Your daughter will respect you more if you don't give in. The moment you waffle, you lose stature in your daughter's eyes. Daughters of all ages love to boast about how tough their fathers are, not just physically, but how strict and demanding they are. This allows daughters to show off how much their fathers love them. So, few points here. Number one, make a plan. Write out your 10 commandments or whatever and do it while she's young. Write out what it is that you expect from her and stick to it. Number two, prepare to come under fire. You will come under fire from her, her friends, the media, pop culture, from everywhere. And all these things will criticize your stance and make you question it. Be prepared for this. It will happen. Number three, you need to be the leader. You have far more life experience than your daughter does. You can see the big picture in a way that she can't. And then finally, number four, do not cave. You need to persevere. Remember that you are far more resilient than your daughter is. You need to make the choice to not run when things get tough. If there's any possible way for you to stay married, do it. Don't bend under peer pressure. Most of your friends will probably be more lenient with their daughters, and that's okay. You can let them. To be certain that your daughter feels loved by you, here's some practical steps that you can take. Number one, words. One of the major differences between men and women is the way that they use words. Girls need you to talk to them. A good rule of thumb is to use twice as many words as you normally would when you're talking with your daughter, even if it means just saying things twice. You need to tell her you love her all the time. It might be easier when she's 5, but you need to do it even more when she's 15. As she gets older, she's going to need more and more reinforcement. Don't ever comment on her weight, her physical appearance, athletic prowess, or scholastic achievements. When you tell your daughter you love her, be prepared to tell her why. When she asks why, it's because she genuinely wants to know, not because she's trying to push your buttons. And I don't have it in my notes here. I guess I should have taken some notes, but this was one thing that I kind of questioned reading it. Like, what? Wait, don't comment on my daughter's scholastic achievements? Like, can't I make her feel proud about this stuff? And it's okay for little comments to be made, but you can't associate your love with her performance in any of these areas. Physical appearance, scholastic achievement, athletic prowess, any of these things that cannot have any relationship to your love for your daughter. So you need to completely separate those two. That's really the point here. So where were we? That was a side note. So to make sure that your daughter is loved, fences. You need to set up boundaries for your daughter. And you need to let her know that you're doing it because you love her and you want to keep her safe, not because you don't trust her. Another one is time. This is, again, making your daughter feel loved. Being a father means giving up your time without resentment. One-on-one time with your daughter is critical. It needs to be conversational. Avoid activities that put you in competition with your daughter. And always use this time for emotional balance. And then finally, straight up love. Let her know that nothing she can ever do will ever make you stop loving her. So there's some tips there. Dr. Meeker says that nobody has a more powerful effect on preventing and helping to recover from eating disorders than fathers do. She talks a lot about eating disorders in this book. There's a ton, and I'm not going to get into all of it, but the biggest advice here is talk to your daughter. Listen, and then listen some more. Don't do the following things. Don't comment frequently about how she looks. Don't comment about your own need to diet. Don't make derogatory comments about her body. I kind of gasped when I heard that. Like, what dad would do that? But I guess it needs to be said if she's putting it in the book. She's seen it all. Don't comment frequently about her clothes. You should have standards about what she wears and makeup, but don't give her the idea that appearance is a high priority. Don't constantly focus on the importance of exercise, and don't make her feel that she needs to do things to get your attention. Give it to her naturally as a part of everyday life. Okay, that's the end of that list. A few other tips here is to teach your daughter humility. The doctor said that basically from about the age of 11 years old on, all girls feel fat. There's no getting around it. This is going to happen. Give your daughter lots of hugs. She longs for physical affection from her dad, especially during the teen years. Teach your daughter modesty. Let her know that this is a way for her to respect her own body. There's a ton in this book, and I feel like I've summarized about half of the book so far, and at some point I kind of stopped taking a lot of notes because I felt like I just need to read this book again as my daughter gets older, because it gets a lot into sex. The author has dealt with so many problems with early sex, and she says that this is so tied into depression that she essentially treats depression in teenagers as an STD. She doesn't really treat it all that differently. It's when kids have early sex, it leads to depression. There's a very strong connection there. And she says that it's important to have discussions with your daughter about sex. Let her know where you stand. And just one final action plan here is to realize who you are to her. Always be there for her. Never make her wonder about this. And the more you leave her wondering, the harder she is going to push for an answer. So that is my summary of Strong Fathers, Strong Daughters. And just one more time, this was my summary of what the author had to say in this book. I may record another summary in a year and a year after that as I continue to listen to this book over and over as my daughter gets older. And for reference, my daughter's 10 right now. She just turned 10 about a month ago. So that's kind of where I'm at. You can tell the areas that I'm more focused on at the moment. Okay, this has been Reuben's Corner, signing off.